Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell so you're notified of new videos. Hey, this is Danielle, your Celestial Piper, here again with our special guest, Micah Dank. He's going to do part 2 today of Intro to Astrotheology. This is my favorite part, so definitely keep your ears open and listen to this because there's a lot of good information going to be given to you today. He is, just a reminder, the writer of the Into the Rabbit Hole series. I am just now starting on book 5. I'm making myself take my time because there's so much awesome information in there. So be sure to check him out on Amazon. And he is so wonderful about getting a hold of you. So if you go on like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I believe you're on, you can contact him and you can always get the books through him. And he'll answer any questions as well. He also has a YouTube channel, Micah Dank, and he just hit, congratulations, over 3,000 subscribers. So I'm so happy for him. Yay. And so be sure to go check out his channel too. Subscribe to him, like, comment all his videos, and all that wonderful stuff. All right, so I'm going to give the floor to you, Micah. Thanks for coming on again.
All right, let's literally just pick up where we left off, and then we'll just tell people to watch the first half.
Yep.
Okay, so I believe this is where we left off. Let me know when you can see it.
Yes, that looks familiar. But then again,
Astrology
I watch you
on
channels.
Astrology is a language. If you understand this language, the sky speaks to you. So what is the point of this? Well, we take for granted that we have clocks, calendars, watches, weathermen. The ancients didn't have any of that. They had sundials. In the Bible, they worked on dream interpretations for harvest. They had to know things. They had to know that Taurus is when you put the plow on the bull and plant as above, so below. The Bible is an encoded farmer's almanac, and was the knowledge of staying alive the most important thing. They would look at the stars and see all this crazy movement and make up stories about them and then pass them down to their children, then them to their children. Eventually, they learned how to write and wrote them down. They evolved from Sumerian to Babylonian to Egyptian to Judaism, Old Testament, then to the Christians in the New Testament, and even newer to the Quran for the Muslims. So my point, once again, is not that those ancient people told literal stories and we are now smart enough to take them symbolically, but that they told them symbolically and we are now dumb enough to take them literally. And that's what you'll have when you have people that take the Bible literally. Jesus disappears at 12 and comes back at 30. This has been a subject of great debate, but the answer is quite simple, actually. What happens to a young Jewish boy at the age of 12, technically his 13th year? He becomes bar mitzvahed. He becomes a man. So Jesus becomes a man and leaves to study. He starts his ministry at 30. But why? Well, the ancient Jewish religion has roots in Saturnalia worship before it. That's why their day of rest is a Saturday, or the Saturn day. So why 30? Well, Saturnalia worshippers said that you were not allowed to become a teacher until Saturn came back to the point it was at when you were born. And it just so happens that Saturn takes 30 years to come back. Refer back to Ezekiel at 30, seeing God, which is right here. Ezekiel's inaugural vision. In my 30th year, in the 4th month of the 5th day, when I was among the exiles by the Kebar River, the heavens were opened and I saw visions of God. So Ezekiel 1 is the wheel. Okay, this is known as Ezekiel's wheel. Mm-hmm. Well, the wheel is the zodiac. When he turned 30, he saw God. Jesus starts at 30. Ezekiel saw God at 30. Genesis 32:30 references Jacob in the pineal gland. So how about this picture? Well, to the right of Ezekiel is what's known as the tetramorph, or the four-headed animal. It's a lion's head, a man, a bull, and an eagle. It's the eagle is the ascendant of Scorpio. They're the 4 fixed signs of astrology. Why fixed? Because they're fixed in their season. So in astrology, you have things called cardinal signs, fixed signs, and mutable signs. And the way it works is that the sign that starts the season is the cardinal sign. Then the fixed sign is the one that's fixed in their season. And then the mutable sign enters into, it's a fluid, it's water, and it builds into the next sign. Okay? Leo is in the middle of summer, Eagle, fall, Aquarius, man, winter, and the bull, Taurus, spring. Next to the tetramorph is the zodiac. Okay, this is the zodiac. You can see the cross of the solstices and the equinox in the middle of it. Okay, a lot of people will sit there and say this is what an angel looks like, but it's not, with all the eyes. But that's not what it is. This is Ezekiel's wheel. Ezekiel's wheel is the zodiac. God is in the sun as God was the sun, as God always has been the sun. Now, the sun tells the hour of the day, the moon tells the day of the month, the zodiac tells the month of the year. Okay, it's a perfect calendar. So let's talk about God real quick. So God is infinite. Okay, any Christian will tell you that God is infinite. And to that, I say one thing: how can something exist outside of infinity? It can't. The biggest lie we've been taught is that we are separate from God, that we should fear it, that we are separate from it. We are a part of it. Many of you have children. They are literally half your DNA, so they are a part of you, but you experience them subjectively outside your body. So is with God and us. The peace of God comes down in what we call consciousness into a body, and we feel separate from it. We are all God experiencing itself subjectively. Einstein said about the God that he believes in the God of Spinoza. Well, Baruch Spinoza was a thinker who said that God doesn't want you huddled in churches and temples in the cold, praying as loud as you can with the others, praying the loudest. Jesus said that for those who give publicly or pray the loudest, they have their reward, which literally means they have their reward, which means the adulation and the attention they get from whatever they're doing, that's their reward. But it's not done with a pure heart. If you pray, pray by yourself. The book of Thomas says, split a piece of wood and I'm there. Turn over a stone and you will find me. Spinoza's God wants you to go to the mountains and the lake and enjoy what I am created for you and worship that way. The biggest lie we've ever been collectively taught is that we need to fear and worship. When we are a baby, we are in our mother's womb. The mother, being the supreme being, is aware of the baby. However, the baby is not aware of the mother from its vantage point, as is with us, with God. We are each a piece of God, unaware of the whole because we're in the middle of it. So Moses goes to get the 10 Commandments, and when he comes down, he sees them worshiping a golden calf. So what's more likely? The Jews got run out of Egypt. They couldn't even let the bread rise, which is why we have matzah to this day. They rushed to the desert with just the clothes on their back, but happened to carry enough gold between all of them, found welding equipment in the desert, and built a giant statue. Or the sun is the gold, and the calf is the bull or Taurus. They were worshiping the sun in Taurus, whereas there the Jews are the people of Aries. So he breaks the commandments, becoming the first lawbreaker because he broke the law. And that's what it is. That's what it's talking about. Now, in Numbers 21, 4-9, the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people so that many of the people of Israel died. So the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned because we have spoken against the Lord and you. Intercede with the Lord, and he may remove the serpents from us. And Moses interceded for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, make a fiery serpent and set it on a standard, and it shall come about that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, he will live. So where do we know the serpent on the stick from? The rod of Asclepius or the caduceus? Goes back to Kundalini yoga. Anybody that sees this, anybody that gets to this level, they get to go see God. In the year 1367 BC, well before Moses, Akhenaten established monotheism under a sun god in Egypt. Abraham, as the story goes, started the one true God belief, but that's just not true at all. In fact, during this time period, there have been found plenty of fertility gods and goddesses dug up in the current times that the Jews have made. In fact, Moses is a character who's based on two Egyptians, Akhenaten, who is the basis of Moses and Tuthmosis, where he gets his name, hence Moses. The Egyptians kept pristine, meticulous records about their history, even the things that were unflattering or painted them in bad light. There is zero evidence in the Egyptian records of Exodus, of Moses, of the plagues, of the Red Sea parting. Excuse me. There is zero mention in the Bible of the pyramid or the Sphinx. So that's a little odd. No? Simply and always has been describing the path of the sun over the ecliptic as the sun dances around its 12 zodiacs. Mithra, born on December 25th, the Immaculate Conception. He is a sun god and Messiah. 12 disciples accepted since. Was killed, then resurrected, becoming God incarnate. Cult includes communion, baptism. Adonis, born December 25th. Greek god of fertility, aka Babylonian Tammuz, aka Syrian savior. He was killed and buried, resurrected 3 days later. Dionysus, born on December 25th as a result of the Immaculate Conception, Greek god of winemaking, aka Bacchus, aka savior and liberator of mankind, naturally with communion. Osiris, born in late December to a virgin, Egyptian sun and underworld god, aka judge of the dead, aka one of the Egyptian trinity. Ruled over 12 kings, betrayed, killed, buried, risen after 3 days. Horus, born December 25th to Isis as a result of the Immaculate Conception from the spirit of Osiris, god of the sun and light, one of the Egyptian trinity, embodied the resurrection. God equals sun. December 25th is the day of the resurrection of the sun. What do I mean by that? Well, if you remember what we were talking about, okay, December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It's dead, okay? It's the winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year, okay? Then it stays that for 3 days, and then the sun comes back to life and rises its first degree on December 25th. That's when the gods are born. Chapter 125, Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Declaration of Innocence before the gods of the tribunal. O swallower of shades, who came forth from Kernet, I have not slain people, becomes thou shalt not kill. O doubly evil one who came forth from the Berserite gnome, I have not had intercourse with a married woman, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife. O he who prospers the common people, who came forth from Asiut, I have not cursed a god, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. 3 of the 10 commandments are mentioned here. The rest can be found. It's not the 42 negative confessions of Matt. That's actually incorrect. It's the 42 affirmations of Matt. Okay? There's 2 of them, the 42 negative confessions and the affirmations. So this is incorrect. It's the 42 affirmations of Matt. That's where you'll find your 10 commandments.
Gotcha.
Let's talk about Lazarus that Jesus raised. El-Azarus is Osiris, who Horus raised from the dead. The Greek name Lazarus equals Eliezer in Hebrew and means whom God helps. It is a strange coincidence, firstly, that the person whom Jesus resurrects happens to be named whom God helps. And secondly, that Eliezer, or breaking down its original components in Hebrew, El-Azar, closely resembles a combination of the Semitic word for God, El, with the Egyptian name for Osiris, Osir. Okay, Lazarus was not a real person. This is a story stolen from the Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians used to worship the sun in Taurus. You can see the hieroglyphs of the bull with the sun between its horns on the left. The Jews are the people of Aries, the ram. That's why they blow the ram's horn to the sky on the holidays. The Christians are the people of Pisces. That's why they have the Jesus fish as shown below. This is also why Jesus is able to feed the masses with 2 fish. The 2 fish are Pisces. John 21. So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153, but even with so many, the net was not torn. Okay, so why 153? Well, look at this red in between the blue on the left here. Okay, that makes the Jesus fish. This is known as the Vesica Pisces. It's the interconnection of 2 circles. Its mathematical equation is 247 over 153. See, the ancients knew this ancient math. Okay, and they embedded it and they hid it. So the ancient Egyptians were the people of Taurus. Okay, then they start to fade. Then the Jews are the people of Aries. Then after Aries, they start to fade. Then the Christians are the people of Pisces. Okay, now we're in the age of Aquarius, so the Christians are going to start to fade. That's why you see a lot of media. That's why you see a lot of elites hating on the Christianity, because it for nothing else, it served its purpose. Okay, Christianity served its purpose. We're in a new age right now, and right on time, One World Religion headquarters set to open next year. Okay, where they're going to basically merge everything. Because there needs to be a new religion. There's a new age. Were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just like, yep. And this is probably the man and machines like you've talked about on other channels.
It's going to be the merging of man and machine. And Elon Musk is spearheading it right now.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the Synod of Jamnia. So people ask me, where are your sources? I just ripped this straight from the Encyclopedia Britannica. You can look this up. What the Synod of Jamnia was, it was similar to the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, only this happened in 100 AD. It was in Jamnia, in Palestine. They fixed the canon of the Bibles for Judaism. So what happened was the Bible at 100 AD, believe it or not, was not in the right order, or in the order that we have now. Okay, so a bunch of rabbis and politicians got together and put it in order. In fact, the book of Job is the oldest book in the Bible, and it's not particularly close.
And it's like in the middle.
In the middle, right? The book of Genesis is actually much younger than the book of Job.
It is.
Now, something interesting happened during the Synod of Jamnia, because about 30 years prior to this, there was a gospel that came out called the Gospel of Mark, which is the oldest testament, which is the oldest gospel. the Gospel of Mark came out, and they deliberated at the Synod of Jamnia of whether or not they were going to include it in the Old Testament. And that just would have made religion one fluid thing. But then they decided then and there, no, we're going to leave it for the New Testament. Okay, that's what they basically did. Okay, and again, you can open up Encyclopedia Britannica and look this stuff up. So Genesis 32:30, I mentioned the 30 before. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Peniel just becomes pineal. Okay?
Yep.
So if you look at the Eye of Horus here, on the right of it, that's a sagittal cut of the human brain. They're identical. Okay? The eye, in both of them, that's the pineal gland. And the eyebrow above it is the corpus callosum. Okay?
It's uncanny.
What is the pineal?
Uncanny.
What's up?
I said it's uncanny. I mean, you can't deny it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the interior of the pineal gland has retinal tissue composed of photoreceptor cells and is filled with vitreous fluid, just like in the eyes. It is wired to the visual cortex. In certain reptiles, it has a cornea and a lens. What does the pineal gland have? Well, it has calcium carbonate crystals, okay, that change in pressure. This is known as the piezoelectric effect. And what that basically means is if you were to juice the pineal gland, okay, some crystals would come out of it, okay? If you were to dry them out and hit the crystals with a hammer, colors would fly out of it. That's what the piezoelectric effect is, okay? And what does the pineal gland do? It releases DMT twice in your life. Well, it releases first melatonin, which when the sun goes down, it makes you sleepy. That's why, because we've evolved when the sun goes away. Another reason why we worship the sun, because when the sun goes away, we have to go to sleep, because all the bad animals come out, the bad people come out, we can't see. Okay, now DMT releases twice in your life. The first time is when you're dreaming every night. It causes you to dream. The second time is as your body's shutting down as you're dying. Literally, as it's shutting down, it floods your body with DMT. Now, in many Buddhist traditions, 49 days is the total mourning period, with prayers conducted every 7 days across 7 weeks. These Buddhists believe that rebirth takes place within 49 days after death. The Jews do something called Lag BaOmer, where they count the Omer. It's a 49-day period. The Christians have a 49-day period as well, too, known as the Pentecost. Okay? If you're familiar with that, Danielle. The Pentecost is a 49-day time period. It basically starts after Easter, and that's basically when you get your communions and your confirmations and a bunch of other stuff done. Okay? So why 49 days? Why is 49 days so special? Well, it just so happens that with 3D ultrasounds right now, we can see that the pineal gland becomes visible on the 49th day of gestation. So I talk about this before, but when a sperm meets an egg, okay, a flash of light goes out inside the body when the egg receives the sperm. Because we know that it's not always the first sperm that reaches the egg. The egg decides which sperm comes in.
Right.
Okay? And we know this. And when it decides, and the sperm starts to go in, a flash of light goes off inside the body, inside a woman's body. It's measurable, and they've done studies on it. And there's videos you can see on YouTube. Okay? That is conception. Okay? I don't care what side of the left or the right you are with abortion. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that life begins at that point. Now, the other thing that happens is your soul enters through the pineal gland on day 49. Okay? So let's talk about hell, the flaming inferno. Because a lot of Christians are worried about this. So it's a lake of fire that you're going to burn in eternity for. Well, how do we detect pain? The nervous system. It doesn't have to be the male nervous system. Actually, this is a pretty shitty picture. I should have picked a different one. But the brain, the spinal cord, the nerve endings, the neurons. So when you die and you're no longer your body, okay, and you don't have any nervous system to feel pain.
Yeah.
How are you going to burn and feel pain for eternity? You won't. Because the truth is that hell is a place, and it's on earth, and it's called winter. Hell is winter on earth. The idea of a fiery pit where you burn for all eternity is ridiculous when you think about it logically. Hell is actually winter on earth. Why? It's cold. The vegetation and beautiful flowers and plants are dead. The trees shed their leaves and bear no fruit. It's freezing cold out. People tend to get sick more often. Dangerous animals, if they're not hibernating and starving, are starving and scrounging for food. It's dangerous for humans. The Italian word for winter is inverno, Flip a letter, inferno, and pervert its meaning, you get the concept of hell. This picture is Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. Satan's in the bottom level of hell. As you can see, he's frozen up to his waist in a frozen tundra. This is from the 1300s. This is Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. Okay, Dante's Inferno, that whole thing. This is what this is. And Satan's, look at it. It's a desert waste. It's a wasteland. It's a frozen tundra.
It's
okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's all ice.
His wings are flapping so hard that it's freezing everything over. See, Dante, 800 years ago, 700 years ago, knew that hell would be winter. And what else do they say, Danielle, in the Bible? You can attest for this. Don't they say there will be gnashing of teeth?
Yes.
Well, they will be gnashing.
Weeping and gnashing.
When do you chatter your teeth? In the cold or the heat?
In the cold.
They're putting it in front of you. You're just not putting the things together. That's what it basically is. I'm not talking about you directly. I'm just saying in general.
No. I mean, I totally see it, but some people might say, well, gnashing is from pain, gritting your teeth in pain. You're going to have people that say it, but, a lot of the art and everything, like I think Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, they have esoteric stuff in there that shows it. Paintings with the sun behind Jesus show a sun disk.
They had to do that. They had to do it esoterically and hidden. They had to. Yep. Because it's not like we're now. If we were doing this podcast 150 years ago, they might have killed us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So you have to understand is that they hid things in paintings and stuff for you to find out. There's a couple paintings I'm going to show you, too.
Oh, is one of them the Michelangelo one?
Yeah.
With the fingers? That's my favorite.
Yeah. So Satan and Lucifer. Satan does not exist. He's not a red devil with a tail and a pitchfork. In fact, the earliest paintings of him in the 900s, he was actually blue. Hence where we get the Duke blue devils from. The Hebrew word for Satan is Hashatan, which literally translates to adversary. So when you're using the word Satan or Hashatan, two basketball teams are Hashatan to one another. Mm-hmm. Two competing sports teams, two UFC fighters, whatever you want to do, two competitors are Satans to one another. It's just an adversary. Lucifer, he is known as the light bringer or the light bearer. Genesis 1:3, and God said, let there be light. How can there be light without a light bearer? Lucifer is immediately mentioned in the Bible, if not by name, but by action and purpose. Lucifer is also known as the morning star. Well, the morning star is also known as the planet Venus. The reasoning is that if you go out and you look at the sky just before the sunrise in the east, you'll see a bright light directly over it. That's Venus. Mm-hmm. It announces the arrival of God's only begotten son, the light of the world. Lucifer is also known to have a pentagram. That's his symbol. Continuing with Lucifer as Venus, if you follow Earth and Venus's orbit around the sun in a year's time, they almost connect at 5 points. You connect that, you get the pentagram. This is what it looks like. This is Earth and Venus going around the sun. The 5 points where they almost connect, the closest they are, there you go.
Yep. But that's evil.
Yep. It's all astrology. It's evil, though, because people don't know any better. What about Baphomet? Notice it's Levi's name at the bottom. He's also the first person to invert the pentagram point down. Okay? Now, understand this, is when the pentagram is pointed down, okay? I'm gonna switch this, okay? But when you have 2 points pointing up or 2 points pointing down, depends on whether you're talking about winter or summer. That's all it represents.
Okay? How about that?
Huh?
I said, how about that? Now, that I didn't know.
Yeah, that's all it does. I think 1 point down is winter. I have to double check, though. But that's what it means. Now, the goat is Capricorn, and the man is Aquarius, the sign of the man. They're connecting signs. Also, at the firmament of Aquarius connects as opposing sign to Virgo, the sign of the woman. The ancients knew the divine was both masculine and feminine, left brain masculine and right brain feminine. It's why Baphomet has a pair of tits. It's not a demonic entity. It's the joining of the male and the female, just like the next slide. This is the rudimentary phallic symbol, the original penis, so to speak. It is known as the spear. This is the rudimentary sign of the womb, the chalice, the feminine. And you can see that because the penis kind of points up and the triangle points up. These are rudimentary pictures, but the triangle pointing down, you see an opening on the top, that's the womb. This is the Star of David. It's the joining of the two. It's a hermaphrodite, okay? Just like Baphomet. That's all Baphomet is. The Star of David is. And there's more sex magic in the Bible than you think. This is the faithful blueprint of Solomon's temple. Okay? They have the cubits at the bottom, and it's built out just as it's talked about in the Bible. This is a view of Solomon's temple from above. It's important to note that Solomon is not a name of a person. It's a combination of 3 words for the sun. Sol, or sun in Latin, Om, which is the light of the syllable Om as advised in the Upanishads. On was the city of light, or Heliopolis in Greece.
Yep.
So in reality, it's Sol Om On,
Right.
not Solomon. This was created using sex magic. Yakin and Boaz represent the testicles from this view. The porch is the base of the penis. The holy place is the shaft. The Holy of Holies is the head. The ark, or the hole of the penis, is where the DNA information Torah is stored. The store chambers represent the female womb, and the 2 entrances to them represent the fallopian tubes. You see how this looks like a penis entering a vagina, right?
Yep.
You there?
Yeah, I see it.
You see it? Now
Yeah,
everyone
you
else
can.
will see it too. Samson and Delilah. Now, each biblical story is not just it's not just Jesus that represents the sun going through. Each biblical story, for the most part, is a different way of telling the story of the sun. Okay? Samson is Shimshon, which means little sun in Hebrew, whereas the root of Delilah is Lila, which means night. The story of Delilah is that she cuts Samson's hair, which takes away his power, and he ends up eyes gouged out and blind. However, this is just another story of the sun and how it goes away at night and people are blind. It's the eternal battle between the sun and night, or set from the ancient Egyptians. That's why we have a sunset. Okay? Samson and Delilah. Okay? Story about the sun being chased away into the underworld. Jonah in the body of the whale. In Hebrew, the words are dag gadol, which translates to great giant fish. He's in it for 3 days. It's the 3 days you see recurring in the Bible over and over again. The sun walking sideways like the crab for 3 days. Daniel and the lion's den. It's a story revolving around 2 signs in astrology. Daniel the man, Aquarius, and the lions, which are Leo the lion. In the zodiac, they are opposing signs. Remember, we're always talking about opposing signs and connecting signs. Not only do they make patterns with zodiac signs, but they make patterns in the wheel of the zodiacs. Abraham and Sarah. Abraham's name was Abram before he was made Abraham. Abram is a combination of 2 words. Abba, which is father in Hebrew, and Ram, which means ram. Father of the people of Aries, the Jews. Abram actually goes back to Brahma, and Sarai goes back to Sarah or Saraswati, influence from Hinduism. Hinduism is just as old as Judaism. Okay?
I thought it was older. I thought Hinduism was like 9,000
Yeah,
years
it's
old.
just as old. Yeah. Hinduism is incredibly old. Yes. So is Chinese. So is China. And they have their own zodiac, and I'm not going to get into that because I haven't really studied that, to be honest with you. Lot and Lot's wife in Sodom and Gomorrah. In the ancient times, people were paid in salt. It's where the word salary comes from. Salt. Why? Well, it preserved the meat. And when you killed a cow and didn't eat it in one day, it would go bad. Salt kept it viable for longer. There was no refrigeration back then. Salt was the highest currency aside from gold and silver. So when she turned into a pile of salt, you have to think about it like she was leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, like leaving Las Vegas, gambling, hookers, debauchery, what have you, turning back and turning into a pile of gold coins. Because that's what salt represented. There's a town in Israel called Megiddo, which a 3rd century church was found under another church. It's one of the oldest churches known to man. This is from the 200s. In the center of the floor is the mosaic of the 2 fish Pisces. See, the ancients, the early Christians, before the Council of Nicaea, Christians were known as Helionostics. And Helios in Greek means sun, and Gnosis means knowers. They were sun knowers, sun worshippers. Okay? They were sun worshippers, and they knew Jesus was Pisces, the 2 fish. This was in the 200s. Megiddo is also the root of the word Armageddon, which is where the war on earth and the rapture is supposed to begin. The zodiac surrounds Stufetta del Babiana, the papal bath. Bet you didn't know that. I'm telling you, they know this in the church at the high ends. They do. They know all this stuff. America was not founded as a Christian nation. And the day will come when the mystical generation of Jesus, by the Supreme Being as his father in the womb of a virgin, will be classed with the fable of the generation of Minerva in the brain of Jupiter. That's Thomas Jefferson in a letter to John Adams. What influence, in fact, have Christian ecclesiastical establishments had on civil society? In many instances, they have been upholding the thrones of political tyranny. In no instance have they been sent as the guardians of the liberties of the people. That's Madison. The purpose of separation of church and state is to keep forever from these shores the ceaseless strife that has soaked the soil of Europe in blood for centuries. Madison. And my favorite quote from Thomas Paine: the Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, in which they put a man called Christ in the place of the sun and pay him the adoration originally paid to the sun. This was 300 years ago they knew this.
Yeah, he was quite bold.
What's up?
I said he was quite bold for that time.
Yeah. So this is the swastika, okay? I'm going to show you other things that are astrology. Swastika, if you read Wikipedia, and I never suggest reading Wikipedia unless you just want some dumb, mundane detail, okay? For example, it talks about its origins of ancient times, from ancient religions and its peaceful meaning. However, tweak it a little and pervert the meaning and you get the modern-day peace we see that we'll never reclaimed as a peaceful symbol, but it goes further than that. The swastika isn't Buddhist or Hindu, Babylonian or Syrian or Sumerian. It's actually astrology. Okay? This is the oldest swastika we've ever found. It's 17,000 years old, and it's from the Ukraine. Remember, the Lascaux caves are 17,000 years as well.
And you said it's from Ukraine.
Correct.
Interesting.
Whereas the Lascaux caves are in France, in Lascaux, France. So what is the swastika? Well, if you take the Big Dipper around Polaris during the four points, there you go. There's the swastika. Saturn was discovered in 1610. This is what I mean about Wikipedia and Google. When was Saturn discovered? 1610. Galileo spots Saturn's ring through a telescope but mistakes them for a triple planet. What about the ancient Saturnalia festivals that we knew about? Everybody knows about the Saturnalia festivals. You know, witches do, pagans do, most religious people do. They just think it's evil, based on the Abrahamic Hebrew religion. That's a flat-out lie. Just like Julian the Apostate, 1700 years ago, talks about the sun being the fiery chariot that the planets dance around. Heliocentrism was discovered much, much earlier than it's given credit for. Why is there Saturn worship? Well, there's a lot of things that are Saturn worship nowadays that you don't know about. The top left, you have the Jews with the tefillin. You have the black cube. Saturn was known as the black cube or the black planet. You have on the right of that, you have the Kaaba in Mecca. On the right, you have the mortarboard when you graduate. That's the black cube.
Yep.
You have the Nintendo GameCube. That's a black cube. You literally have the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn is a black cube. The judge's robe. Okay, that's all Saturn worship. What else is Saturn worship? The earrings.
It's in Wall Street too.
What's up?
There's a big black cube in Wall Street, or a red cube in Wall Street, and there's like black cubes out there. They're all over the world.
Right. The earrings, okay? Because Saturn had rings. So women were told to listen to their god, so they'd get their ears pierced and wear earrings. Men would wear wedding rings because they had to pledge their fidelity in front of their god. So what else? Well, this is Göbekli Tepe, okay? And this particular section of Göbekli Tepe, okay, is 13,000 years old, okay? And this particular section of it is an astronomical observatory, okay? So they've known about this. So is this. This is Stonehenge. It functioned as a clock, okay?
That makes sense, actually.
Okay? Let's talk about the Sphinx for a sec. The Sphinx is smooth on the back, okay? Why was it smooth? Well, it was under sand for millennia, but then you would think because it had sand whipping on it that it would be coarse, because it would be chipping away at it, but it wasn't. It's smooth. Why? Because there's water that ran over it for thousands of years. Why? Because 13,000 years ago or 12,000 years ago was the melting of the last ice age. So the the ice melted and it ran over the Sphinx. That's how old the Sphinx is. Okay? And how else you know that is because the Sphinx is half man, half lion. Okay? That face has been changed. Okay? That used to be a lion's head. Okay? In fact, if you look at where the Sphinx is facing 12,000 years ago, it would be facing the constellation Leo. So it was built to face itself. Okay?
So it had been like the age of Leo.
It was the age of Leo, correct. 12,000 years ago, yeah. What about this? The pyramids of Egypt face to line up Orion's belt. Well, where is Orion's belt? Orion's belt is between Taurus and Gemini. Okay? So that's when about 9,000 years ago when it was built. What about this? This is the Antikythera mechanism. They found this in a ship. Okay, this is an advanced calculator for the stars. Okay, so now let's talk about how they use this, and they talk about this kind of stuff nowadays. When do you kill John F. Kennedy? November 22nd, the handover date from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Scorpio being the betrayer, he was betrayed, and he dies in Sagittarius because the sun dies the last day of Sagittarius. Why is January 1st New Year's Day? Neil deGrasse Tyson has gone on record saying that nothing special happens on January 1st or December 31st. He's wrong, and I've tried to call him out on it. Something interesting happens. It's our new year in the world because at midnight on December 31st, if you look up as high as you can in the sky, you'll see again, this is not correct. It's not the North Star. It's Sirius, the dog star. I have to change that. So you'll see Sirius, the dog star, at its height. It doesn't get any higher than that. Follow a line straight down to Earth, then follow a line straight down to the sun. It's a perfect alignment. Sirius is as high as it gets December 31st at midnight. Okay? Otherwise, we should have New Year's in Aries, March 21st, when Passover and Easter happen, or September 21st, when the Jews have their New Year's. Okay? Or the solstices. Why do they always crash the stock market in Libra? The Panic of 1907 is October 1907. The Wall Street crash of 1929, October 24th, 1929. The handover date to Scorpio. Black Monday, October 19th, 1987. Friday the 14th mini crash, October 13th, 1989. Stock market downturn of 2002, October 9th, 2002. 10% in most of the world's indices drop, October 24th, 2008. Handover date to Scorpio. Now, another interesting thing happens. Right? What's up?
It's like 3 days. That's what the handover is, right?
Well, it's technically 6 because it's the 3 days leading out of a sign and the 3 days leading into a sign. Okay.
Just in case anybody's wondering.
Yes. And what else about this? Well, October 1907, Teddy Roosevelt was the president, Republican. 1929, Calvin Coolidge, Republican. 1987, okay, Ronald Reagan, Republican. 1989, okay, George H.W. Bush, Republican. Stock market downturn of 2002, George W. Bush, Republican. I believe October 24th, 2008 was Obama, but unfortunately that was not, stock markets crashes are forced, and I believe there's going to be one in Libra this year too. Yeah. Okay. These usually happen when Republicans are in place. They force crash it. However, in 2008, that's when the housing market collapsed, which was done because of the whole everybody deserves a home thing. So the subprime mortgage lending. So that was a natural crash because of what happened.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always a Republican and it's always forced crash. And I think it's going to force crash again this year. So the largest daily point gains is always in Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the Roman Catholic Catechism 2116. All forms of divination are to be rejected. Recourse to Satan or demons, conjuring up the dead, or other practices falsely supposed to unveil the future. Consulting horoscopes, astrology, palm reading, interpretation of omens and lots, the phenomena of clairvoyance, and recourse to mediums, all conceal a desire for power over time, history, and in the last analysis, other human beings, as well as a wish to conciliate hidden powers. They contradict the honor, respect, and loving fear that we owe to God alone. Abu Dawood. It is suggested that the Prophet Muhammad stated, whoever seeks knowledge from the stars is seeking one of the branches of witchcraft, that of which is inherently forbidden in Islam. So my question to you is this: why, if everything is so deeply rooted in astrology, would the Muslims and the Catholics have you believe that it's evil? That's the real question.
It's control. They don't want you knowing. That's a good way to control people, religion.
Yep. Okay. What about the Phoenix Suns? The Phoenix is the story of the Christ, the sun, a flaming form of life, the sun, that dies and rises from its ashes. Jesus was the sun who died for 3 days and came back to life. Phoenix is the sun, Christ. The sun is Christ. That's why they're called the Phoenix Suns. But what about the women's Phoenix team? The Phoenix Mercury. Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo, the only woman sign. So how else are things encoded in everyday life and entertainment? 1990s movie Face Off starring Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. Well, what are their characters' names? Nicolas Cage's character is Castor Troy. His brother is Pollux Troy. Those are literally the names of Gemini.
Wow.
What about Travolta? His name is Sean Archer. The Archer is Sagittarius, the man with the bow and the arrow. They are opposing signs on the zodiac. Harry Potter. You have a ton of characters in Harry Potter that are named after stars or constellation. You have Draco Malfoy, Pollux Black, Sirius Black, Andromeda Black, Regulus Black, Arcturus Black, Cassiopeia Black, Orion Black, and Cygnus Black. Algol, also known as the Demon Star. Algol is a demon star and it's fixed in Taurus. Okay, it's an evil star. There's a lot of mythology behind it. Okay, it's called Al Ghul. Well, the bad guy in Batman Begins, his name is Ra's al Ghul. That's where they get his name from. 1990 song Video for Cranberry Zombie. Here Dolores O'Riordan is painted gold like the sun, and her head dressing represents the rays of the sun, much like Jesus in the crown of thorns. But is it that? Well, this is the very next scene. You have the sun on the cross with Sagittarius about to kill it. Okay?
Yep.
Katy Perry's Dark Horse video. Here we see the Eye of Horus, an Illuminati symbol, so to speak. Okay? Here we see Michelangelo's fresco of God giving Adam life. Okay? Well, the first thing you'll notice when you look at this is the outline that God is in.
Mm-hmm.
If you picture it as an opening, this very much looks like a sagittal cut of the human brain. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And if you look at where God is sitting, okay, where his torso is, that is where the pineal gland is. Okay?
Sure is.
All right? And if you look at these angels that are with him,
hands coming right out here.
yeah. And if you look at the angels, okay, there's 12 of them, the 12 zodiac signs. In anatomical astrology, it's also known as the 12 cranial nerves. Okay? And it also looks like the folds of the brain. So that's what it basically is. It's God giving Adam life through the pineal gland. Okay? Now, Michelangelo couldn't come out and say this, so he painted it. Okay? Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. Notice how they're broken down into threes, the groups. Well, they're the seasons. First is spring, summer, fall, winter. Okay? Look at Aries, all the way on the left with the green. Okay? Because the first two are Aquarius and Pisces, and those are water signs. So that's blue. Whereas green is Aries, the grass, the land. Okay? Now skip one, that's Taurus. Go to the second one, it's Gemini with his hands up like this. It's the two hands. He's telling you he's Gemini. He's the twins. So skip Cancer, and then you look at Leo, the guy with the white beard. He's pointing to Virgo, the woman. He's pointing to her Adam's apple, or lack of Adam's apple, to show that it's not there. Then skip Virgo, you go to Jesus, he's the sun. Okay? Now you go to Libra, okay? The green, okay? He's the scales of justice. Look what he's doing with his hands. He's holding the scales out. Okay? Da Vinci knew this was the zodiac. And Da Vinci was in the 1400s. Okay? They knew this stuff. I think Michelangelo was in the 1400s too, or the 1500s, sorry. All right? Modern day things revolving around astrology. Mermaids, a combination of the man sign in Aquarius or the woman sign Virgo and the fish sign Pisces. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. Bullfighting and bull riding. Aquarius the man and Taurus the bull. Jousting, 2 times Sagittarius. Lion taming, Aquarius the man and Leo the lion. Those are opposing signs. Fishing, Aquarius the man and Pisces the fish. They are connecting signs. Virgo the woman and Pisces the fish. Those are opposing signs. And that's the same for the mermaids. Homosexuality in the Bible. Everyone knows about Leviticus 18:22. However, is it really what is said there? The Greek word arsenokotai shows up in 2 different versions of the Bible in Greek, but was not translated to mean homosexual until 1946. In the 1800s, the German Bible said man shall not lie with young boys, as he does with a woman, for it is an abomination. Leviticus 18:22. Same with Leviticus 20:13, young boys. 1 Corinthians, the words are senokotai, and it's important to mention that the Bible was written in Hebrew, But everyone at the time knew that if you were an intellect, you wrote and read in Greek. So 1 Corinthians becomes, boy molesters will not inherit the kingdom of God. If you were to grab Martin Luther, and I mean Martin Luther, the guy who started Lutheranism, the Lutheran Church, original German translation from 1534. They used the word Nabenschonder. Naben is a boy, Schonder is molester. The first time homosexual appears in German translation is in 1983. So all these Christians that are spending so much frustration and hard times just angry at gay people, at the LGBT, it's idiotic, it's stupid, and it's not honest, and it's not based on reality. In fact, it goes even further, because when you die, okay, and the morgue takes care of you, okay, the first thing that you do, your body does, is your bowels release, because you can't keep them tight anymore. Okay, so you start to leak out of your nose, out of your ass, and everything. What they do when they put you in a wake is they screw a butt plug into you so that you don't leak, so it doesn't smell. Okay, so on top of this, homosexuality in the Bible, all these anti-gay preachers are going to end up with a butt plug in them anyway. So there's that. So these are the books that I've decoded. I've done the Book of Matthew, Revelation, Enoch, Jubilees, Thomas, Mary Magdalene, Melchizedek, Philip, Judas, Gospel of John, Book of Psalms, Gospel of Q, the Book of Mormon, just the first book, Gospel of the Lord, according to Marcion de Sena. Books not biblically related, the Enuma Elish, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Code of Hammurabi, the Quran, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I still have the Nag Hammadi to go through, and I have Barnabas, and I have a couple other ones that I need to go through, but then that's it. These patterns, this astrological pattern with what I've showed you earlier, the codex that I used to break it down, breaks down all these books. In Muslims, in Islam, this is what they all do it for, the 72 virgins. There's a star called 70 Virginis, which borders Virgo. That's the 70. There's 1 virgin in Virgo, so that's 71. Plus the virgin you marry on Earth, that's 72. Those are the 72 virgins. Okay? So it's all astrology. Okay? It's not 72 raisins. It's not any of this. So the topics that I discuss in my book series are gematria, etymology, numerology, astronomy, astrology, astrotheology, out-of-body experiences, the Akashic records, symbology, remote viewing, religious secrets, capstones of the pyramids, mystery school channelers, near-death experiences, DMT monitoring, lucid dreaming, acoustic levitation, physics and quantum physics, psychotherapy and psychology, spiritual guides, shared dreaming, crystal technology, conspiracies that not many people know about, corruption and secret societies. These are my 7 books that I have out so far. Okay, it's called Into the Rabbit Hole series. Okay, this is my kid's book that I wrote with my astrologer. A is for Aries. Okay, my point once again is not that these ancient people told literal stories and we are now smart enough to take them symbolically, but that they told them symbolically and we are now dumb enough to take them literally. Okay, so I want to end with this. The star in the north is Polaris, the North Star. The lambs are Aries. The camel is the constellation Camelopardalis, which is in Gemini. The donkey is the Salus Borealis, that's in Cancer. The bull is Taurus. Jesus, the baby, has a sun behind his head because he is the sun. Mary and Joseph's clothes are alchemical. And that's the second half of my presentation.
It's awesome. Granted, I cheated because I've seen it before, but there was some stuff that I didn't remember, so that was really awesome. I would love for you to come back on and do the hand symbols, if you wouldn't mind. Does that take you a long time to do?
No.
Okay. You just reach out to me whenever you're ready.
Okay.
But yeah, that was great. Make sure you guys comment down below if there's any questions or anything. Make sure to check out Micah's channel.
Yeah, check out my YouTube, guys. It's Micah Dank. He's
got a lot of stuff on him. Yeah, you've been putting out a lot of videos lately. I keep going, oh my gosh, I didn't see that one. I gotta go. And I try to make sure I put a comma on all of them because it does help you in the algorithm. I've been telling people on my channel that too. It's like, hey, I don't care if you just say hi. It helps in the algorithm when you
Right.
comment. So, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. He goes through the book of Revelation, which is interesting. Which, just to back up on that, I think it's Revelation 22. I may have said this the last time, when you're doing videos and stuff, you can't remember what you said and if you're on repeat or not. But, Lucifer's the morning star. Jesus is referred to as the morning star.
He calls himself the morning star. It's Revelation
Yeah.
22:16.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
root
And
of
that was
David and the
one of the
bright
things that
morning
woke
star.
me up. Yep. That's exactly it. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is he calling himself the morning star? Lucifer.
It's astrology, and nobody really. Well, first of all, you're what's the word? You're discouraged from even exploring it because the catechism tells you to.
Yep. And see, Christians are so many different denominations. A lot of them go, well, we don't do confirmation. We're not, we don't follow the Catholic stuff, but it still stems from Catholicism. They still control all that anyway. So it doesn't really matter if you follow that or not.
Right.
Well, I don't want to keep you. I don't have really many questions to ask because I talk to you all the time.
Yeah, just let me know what the feedback is.
Yeah, sure will. My channel's growing. So that's awesome. So, and I did see that people did check out your video because the numbers went up on that. So, and I have advertised this because I'm not scared as much anymore of getting horrible comments from people. Had to break out of that people pleasing stuff. I want people to, we're in the age of Aquarius, guys. It's time for us to open our minds and see the truth. So,
Yep.
all right. Well, I guess I will end this. I thank you so much, Micah, for joining me today and sharing your amazing presentation. And guys, if you have any questions or anything, or even if you just want to comment below to help my channel, go ahead and just say hi. That's fine. And go over and check Micah's channel as well. And also check out his book series. It's great. Even if you're not a big reader, Micah's got a gift to be able to present material in a way that people can understand it. So it's not a hard read. They're great stories, so it keeps you interested, but at the same time, you're learning. And I know I'm probably going to go back and read them again because there's just so much information. So, and again, he's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can reach out to him. He answers everybody. He's awesome. So, all right. Well, I'm excited for your last two books once I finish these ones. It was so nice talking to you, Micah. And that's all for today, guys. Shine your light. Peace out. Thank you.